After years of building my own print-on-demand business and seeing thousands of other print-on-demand shops, I've noticed something. I can typically tell within the first 30 days if a new shop is headed towards success or failure, and surprisingly, very little of it has to do with whether they are a good designer or a creative person. Now, if you really feel very stuck in your shop right now, that doesn't mean your print-on-demand business is doomed. Most successful sellers started very slow, but there are a series of habits and patterns I consistently see in those shops that end up making it to 4 or 5 figure months or even a full-time business. So in this video, I'm going to tell you the exact signs I look for in those early days and weeks to tell me if a shop is headed for success. And I want to emphasize, this is not about perfection. I've seen very messy shops become some of the most successful, and I've seen very thoughtfully planned out, beautiful stores not make a single dollar. What matters most is typically the mindset and the systems behind that shop. So that's what I'm really going to be diving in here today. Now, the first thing that really sets apart those shops that are going to make it big and the ones that are going to fail very quickly is successful shops choose platforms that let them build a real business. Now, what exactly do I mean by that? Well, you've probably seen there are so many different print-on-demand platforms out there now. You have some of your big players, places like Amazon and Etsy and Redbubble, Teespring, TeePublic, Zazzle, all of those you probably heard of, but there are mountains of other platforms out there as well. And some of them are easier to use and get started on than others. But a lot of times I see new sellers flocking to those platforms that pretty much hold your hand through every single step of the process and make it very frictionless to get set up, to make designs, to make mock-ups, all of that stuff, which sounds great on its surface, but time and time again, I have seen that the new sellers that set themselves up on platforms that usually require a little bit more effort are the ones that end up winning long term. So for example, I definitely love Redbubble. I sell on there every single day, but Redbubble is not making up the majority of the income in my business. That is made up of other more high effort platforms like Amazon and Etsy. So for example, if a new seller is getting started on Etsy, they are going to have to think about everything from designing their products and uploading them. They are going to have to do mock-up photos. They're going to have to do customer assistance. They are going to have to actually find a manufacturing partner that's going to do all the legwork of printing and packing and shipping that item. So it's a lot more effort up front, and it really scares a lot of new sellers. They would rather go to a platform like Redbubble where they're simply making a design and it's automatically going onto all the products. It's automatically making mock-ups and doing their SEO for them, and you don't have to worry about a lot of things. But that means so many other sellers are also taking that easy path, and platforms like Etsy require so much more work, but they have so many more customers in return. There is so much organic traffic to be found on a platform like Amazon or Etsy, and all the extra work I talked about where you have to talk to your customers, where you have to make your own mock-up photos, you have to write your SEO, do your tags, all of that. While kind of in the beginning, it's very frustrating and annoying, that customization is really what is going to help you be able to scale long term and make more money in this business. So I highly encourage you to think about starting on one of those more challenging platforms at the beginning. Now, it doesn't have to be the most challenging, and I think one of the most crucial parts about this is picking a manufacturing partner that makes the uploading process and selling with them pretty seamless. So if you are selling on Etsy, I can't recommend enough using the manufacturing partner Printify. They're basically going to be your middleman who is doing everything from printing to packing to shipping the items and taking care of anything that arises within that process. They're who I use. It's totally free to use them if you are selling on a platform like Etsy or another site that allows you to have more control and use your own manufacturing partner. So I will link down below the best way to get a free account with them if you do want to get started and you really want to start on one of those platforms that is going to give you the biggest potential for actually making real money, even though it does take a little bit more work up front. Now, the next biggest indicator I look for in those first few weeks of a new seller starting a print-on-demand shop that is going to tell me a lot about the long-term success of this business is if they research their products before they actually design them. So many sellers I see, they kind of go about this process a little bit backwards, is they have a really good idea or they have something that they love designing. They have so many ideas floating around their head and they just jump into the design process, maybe because they love it or that just seems like the most logical thing to them. And in print on demand, to be successful, you sometimes have to separate yourself from that designing process and you have to dive into the research first. The most important thing to check in print on demand is there a demand in this item and is there competition for this item? If you can find something that is in demand and there is low competition, that is almost a guaranteed bestseller. Now, that's easier said than done because the research part can be one of the most challenging. Now, there are tons of research tools out there. I highly suggest investing in some of them. A couple of my favorites are Merch Informer and Sale Samurai for selling on Amazon or Etsy. I will link them both below, along with a discount code that I have for you guys. But there are also other ways to check these kind of things. You can browse the pages of Etsy and Amazon to see how many listings are uploaded for particular niches. You can use something like my cross niching guide that I have for you guys, which is a multi-page document with over 40,000 different low competition niche ideas you can take and run with. I will put the link down below where you can get that download. But ultimately, it doesn't necessarily matter how you are going about your research, but you have to find a system that works for you to actually validate that you have found a good niche before you run to designing it. Because if you spend so much time making these designs and nobody is really looking for them, or there are already thousands of other similar designs out there, you've just wasted all of that time. And the shops that are successful, they know this and they spend way more time in the research process than they ever do designing their designs. Now, if you feel like you have this backwards, it's not too late. I just encourage you to think about how long you are taking making your designs, and at the very least, spend double that time making sure it's a good niche beforehand. Now, one of the next big indicators I can tell if a shop is going to be successful or not in those early days is if new sellers upload consistently, even if they aren't making sales. Now, one of the biggest disciplines you need to master as a print on demand seller is consistently showing up to do your listings, even on flat weeks, even on weeks when you're getting no views, no sales, when things seem like they're not going your way. If you can just push through and continue consistently uploading, you are going to have a successful print on demand shop. Now, it might not feel like it in the moment, but the momentum really compounds. So successful sellers, they pick a number of listings they are going to do regardless of what's going on in their life every single day. Now, it can be as simple as 2 listings. Every single day, I'm going to do the research and I'm going to design and I'm going to upload 2 unique listings to my Etsy store. It's not overly complicated. It doesn't even necessarily have to take a lot of time, but that consistent effort over weeks that turn into months and eventually years means you are eventually going to have a huge catalog of print on demand items, which is almost always the number one predictor of success or not. And the shops that do not get any momentum, that kind of take those first 30 days and only upload a few listings here and there sporadically, those are the ones that are not going to be able to power through and make it long term. Maybe they do really have a lot of momentum and they get so many listings out in those first 30 days. If they are going at a pace that is not sustainable, they haven't created the habit that is going to carry them through long term. Because even if you upload 200 listings in your first 30 days, you might think that you can just rely on all of those listings to make your sales endlessly. And the reality with print on demand is you have to be uploading stuff consistently day after day, or your shop is eventually going to dwindle down. So if I had 2 shops in front of me, one of them at the end of the first 30 days only had about 60 listings uploaded, and the other one had 1 to 200, but they were just uploading on the weekends, or they upload 5 designs one day and 0 the next day, I'm typically going to think that after a year, the shop that was consistently just doing the 2 uploads a day and had about 60 listings at the end is going to be the one that is more successful. Now, one of the next big indicators of if a print on demand shop is going to take off, it's going to make sales and be successful, is if the shop owners themselves learn and then they apply new tips and skills immediately to their shops. Now, I can kind of tend to be a perfectionist by nature. So, this is one of the things that was hardest for me to learn and get over when I was building my print on demand business. In many new endeavors in my life, I love to consume as much information as possible, have the best strategy and plan going into it before I even do the very first action for that new endeavor or business. So, in print on demand, this could look like watching videos like this one you're watching right now. It's not bad to consume this type of information. In fact, it's going to help you make more money in the long term. But if you just watch and watch and consume and consume and consume, and you're not outputting anything, you're not making new listings, you're not applying that new knowledge, those new skills you're learning to your shop, it is not going to help you. I've seen many, many new sellers that say, okay, I've set aside these 3 hours every single evening that I'm going to work on my print on demand business. And yes, while they're technically doing activities related to print on demand, they're doing things like reading articles about the best way to find niches. They're watching videos about how to write good SEO or great products to find. Now, none of those are bad things, but they're not necessarily moving the needle in any way in your business to help you make more income. The reality is the only thing that's going to do that is getting more listings out. So if you're constantly learning new tips, if you're constantly taking ideas from videos and articles and things online, but you're never actually implementing the knowledge you have learned, that is a big indicator to me that your shop is probably not going to be very successful. Now, the shops that really find a lot of success is they are consuming this kind of media, they are getting ideas and tips from other places, but as soon as they get an idea, they are running to their shop and they are implementing that new strategy. They're fixing things that they realized were big mistakes right away. They're not just thinking about them, and they're not just watching 20, 30 videos in a row without doing anything. Now, the next big indicator in those first 30 days for me is shops that immediately are working on building systems that are going to help them instead of randomly doing this print on demand work. Now, what that can actually look like in reality is one shop is going to use templates for their designs, or they are going to make a design once and they are going to save that and then see how many other times they can reuse that to save them a little bit of time in the process of designing. They are organizing their workflows. They are keeping track of niches that are successful. They're doing niche research. They're finding good information on what sells, and they're not forgetting that the next day. They are doing what works over and over again. They do things like they save their titles in their descriptions and try to rework the SEO. They're not approaching their business every single day and trying to reinvent the wheel. They are setting things up the right way one time so that over and over again, they can replicate this process a lot faster. Now, why people don't do this is because sometimes the initial time you make a design, the initial time you are writing your SEO, or you're researching a niche, or you're setting up a new platform, trying out a new product, sometimes it takes more time that first instance, but it's going to save you time long term. So the shops that aren't necessarily as successful are the ones that try to fly through those first listings, but then later on, they haven't saved any of their work. They aren't reusing things. And every single time they're doing every single thing from scratch, which really adds up to a lot less listings that you would be able to get out. So successful print on demand sellers, they aren't necessarily taking shortcuts, but they are making systems that make their life easier. If that means they have 2 to 4 mockups that they're using over and over again, so they don't have to do the process of finding a new mockup every single time, that's amazing. The other shop might be over here every single time going to an entire catalog and looking through hundreds of mockup photos to pick the perfect one, which has wasted so much time that they could be using elsewhere. Now, one of the next huge indicators of a person that has the potential to be a successful print on demand seller is someone who approaches this business and chooses to use data instead of their emotion when they are growing their shops. Now, in this type of business, it's very, very easy to get discouraged. Maybe you make a bunch of new listings and they aren't getting sales, they're not getting clicks, people aren't really interested in them. Well, you can just take that and be like, well, this business is not for me. Nobody wants anything I have to sell. But the successful sellers, they take that and they never take it personally. They just say, okay, I know that that niche doesn't necessarily work. I'm going to spend a little bit more time researching first before I'm making my next listing. They are using things like views, clicks, sales, add to carts, all as data to help them understand what is working in their shop. And they are using the positive things about that to also inform what they are doing. So if they see that a certain item is getting tons of favorites, or maybe they've made their first sale, they are taking that information and running with it and making 20, 30 or more designs in that niche. They're making similar listings. They're using similar SEO because the data has told them that it works. Now, sellers who aren't going to make it very far, they make two mistakes over and over again. I see this all the time. Either they aren't really listening to the data and they are pivoting to option. So while the data is telling them that, hey, this niche that you found for moms who love this career, for example, is doing super well. And you might be like, well, I already uploaded 10 designs in that niche. I'm going to go and move on to something else because maybe I can find my next bestseller. But those designs are still getting sales day after day. You need to take that and just make as many listings as you can for that niche while it is working for you. The unsuccessful sellers, they are pivoting all the time, trying new things, trying new products, not sticking with anything long term to actually see if the data is telling them that that's the right choice or not. So they never really get enough information to know if they're headed in the right direction. Now, on the opposite end, instead of pivoting too much, I see some sellers that they are going to stick with something no matter what, even if the data is telling them to run in the opposite direction. So maybe they have a niche they really like, or they did research and they're like, on paper, this should work really well, but it's been weeks, if not months, and it's crickets on that listing. But they just keep at it. They keep trying to do the exact same thing that's not working because, quote unquote, it should. Maybe someone told them that this was a good idea, or maybe they just really like this thing, but they have no flexibility to pivot and try other things. So you really can't swing too far to either extreme, but you should be letting the data inform what you're doing. So if something is working, listen to that data. If something is not working, take that as a sign to try something else, not as a sign that you are a failure. Now, most successful sellers that are making 4 to 5 figures every single month, they didn't necessarily start off with amazing successful shops. They just built these really sustainable habits that they implemented day after day to slowly grow this into something that was making substantial income. Now, one thing I see is so many new sellers, they are quitting way before they should because they don't think they are making any sales or enough money in that first month of selling. Now, there is a wide spectrum of how much is reasonable to expect to make within that first 30 days. But if you're curious, what is a realistic amount for a shop that actually does become successful to make in those first few weeks? I highly recommend watching this video where I break down every single sale that I made in those first 30 days and how much income I made across those print-on-demand platforms within my first month of selling. I think you might be surprised how much I actually ended up making. It could be more or less than what you're expecting, so I really want you to check that out so you can see kind of if you are on track. But even if you haven't made a single sale in that first month, that doesn't mean that it's too late for you, even if you've been at this years. Just keep at it and implement these tips immediately, and you will have a really, really good chance of actually having a sustainable long-term business that's making you income in the long run. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.